Okay, before anything else, I want to clarify that I stand by everything I said in my previous video. I would guess, and I don't have very much proof of this, but I feel pretty strongly that had I said every single thing within the video exactly the same way, but instead of calling it in defense of The Last of Us 2 Extreme Caution, I had said beware of this game, that the outpouring of angry dislikes and comments would have been cut in half at least. But even still, I stand by what I said. Thing is, the situation has now changed. In my previous video, I focused on community sentiment regarding character and story choices. That was the main point, and for clarity, having seen at the time most of the leaks for myself, and now, though it's a little hard to hunt down the last tidbits, and I think there are a few more things out there that I missed, but now having seen the rest of what I missed, for the most part, my position was that fully judging the title before complete context was given and final release day came was not something I would advocate for. I still support that mentality, without any actual spoiler details. Again, this will not contain anything to ruin the game's plotline for those that have not watched or do not wish to watch the leaked footage itself. I will say that the anger towards this game is largely built upon three main plot decisions, I think. And I halfway suspect that two of those, but at least one, are either a fake-out presented in a way to seem definitive through these leaks, or possibly even directly because of this backlash, will be rewritten or changed. In my last segment, I did not address the circumstances that created this massive leak. I did not really discuss the wage issues or workplace culture of Naughty Dog, which are not very good, to say the very least. And I do not wish to assail the character of the employee who leaked this material, because information about a potentially controversial title such as this being out in the wild pre-release, well, even if I advise caution and hesitation in judgment, more information is not a bad thing, at least not for us, the players. However, from the perspective of someone deliberately wishing to harm the company they work for, playing with context or making an effort to frame the information you release in the most negative way possible, that is not out of the question. It's a different comparison, but picture Game of Thrones, were it to be a standalone TV series. It isn't, there are books, but let's pretend that it was. Now pretend an angry employee leaked major details about the plot because of a compensation issue. On the one hand, Season 5 and 6, and especially Season 6, yes, that leak would warn a massive chunk of the player base that there is a horribly crafted storyline in the works and that the writers sunk the ship, effectively. But on the other hand, in the early seasons, without proper surrounding emotional investment and without any sort of real character building or explanation, the Red Wedding could be presented in a way that seems completely upsetting and unjustifiable. It's an imperfect example, but the point I'm going for is that when you want to hurt someone or something, and you have autonomy to set the terms of a massive information dump, if you wanted to, I have no idea if this individual did this or not, but if they wanted to, they could certainly make manipulation or omit specific details that drastically change public perception. That is the genesis of my previous coverage skepticism. That is why I strongly advocate that players avoid pre-orders, but maybe, just maybe, not write it off completely, at least not yet. I admit that from everything so far, and not just the leaks by the way, but past business associations, actor sentiment, trailer and advertising choices, among many other things, etc., it seems highly probable that the game succumbed to an angry, ideological virus that is usually terminal, at least for the narrative potential. Don't pre-order. Don't get hyped. Honestly, deflate any hype that you have, any at all. But likewise, don't write this off completely without ever looking back, because that long shot chance, as far as that shot might be, that possible surprise entrance, we should want that to happen, while condemning the narrative if it doesn't happen. Hopefully that now makes quite a bit more sense compared to my previous video, because I still believe it to be an entirely reasonable and necessary perspective in a world where ideological polarization is becoming increasingly normal. More and more being extreme against an opposite extreme has escalated, while moderated or reserved but skeptical patience has been disappearing. But in the interest of covering everything I can, I very recently, as in while I scripted this, learned of an allegation that developers and low-tiered employees who had requested bonuses in light of the game's delay during the pandemic had their request rejected, and Neil Druckmann and other high-ranking executives requested their own bonuses and were not rejected. And these bonuses are usually given at or around release day and are a large part of these, workers' salary. They really are impactful in their lives. The high-ranking executives received what the lower developers were denied, and that is where the anger truly came from. It's an allegation, I can't find any supporting internal memos or corroboration, but if that's true, I can start to understand better why someone would leak so much. Not to mention that being its own dedicated and story worthy of coverage. That by itself is totally worthy of investigating and covering, and I'm sure it will. But more details will likely emerge over time. But all of that isn't even the main point for today. The main point is that the situation has changed, and Naughty Dog, or a Sony proxy, or someone involved with this game, has gone nuclear and is digging a grave that they won't be able to climb out of. Obviously, this whole leak and subsequent reactions to it have gone mainstream in the sphere of gaming news. Almost every channel I know of in the space has covered and continues to cover the topic because not only is it one of the largest leaks we've ever seen, it is also one of the largest and most anticipated games in many years. Double Jeopardy. Now, if these leaks had occurred and the actual first-hand videos or posts got removed because of copyright, that honestly makes sense. I know some people might disagree, but a company removing content that they didn't want revealed in the first place yet when posted by a disgruntled employee, I cannot see any reason why they would not or should not do so. However, as soon as a leak of that magnitude takes place, the information percolates through the internet and the situation changes. Once the info is dumped, it gets picked up by YouTubers, forum users, streamers, bloggers, journalists, and a whole host of others as well. The company now has a choice. They can continue to try and take it down whenever possible, an impossible task to actually complete, but one that they can be rather severe when pursuing, or they can just move on and pretend it didn't happen. I can actually justify or defend on a personal level, at least in my own opinion, the choice to continue taking down first-hand footage of the actual leaks. If a YouTuber grabbed the videos before they first got nuked and re-uploads first-hand cutscenes and footage of something that Sony and Naughty Dog just don't want out there yet, yeah, they have every right to strike it down, and I might slightly disagree with them doing it, but it makes sense. And the YouTuber or blogger or whoever had better know that the possibility, it really did exist. Pretending it doesn't or thinking it's not likely to happen makes them a colossal dumbass. Going one step further, it gets extremely murky though. Expanding their circle of what to copyright claim outward, they arrive at discussing the leaks and directly talking about the spoilers and plot points, but not actually showing the leaked footage. This one, in my eyes, would be fairly cut and dry. No, they should not claim that, nor should they be allowed to claim that, unless the creator or poster used some of their copyrighted material in the background, like I am doing right now, which is deliberate, but I'll get to that later. However, the company can probably make the case, and win while making that case, honestly, that they are protecting their IP and can shut down spoiler discussions or creator content that discusses in explicit detail the leaked material that they did not and do not want publicly known. Again, I disagree, but it's a gray area where things probably are not as clear as I personally think they should be. But let's go one more step outward, and it is extremely clear, without any doubt. The last phase is whether or not to take down content that discusses the mere existence of the leaks. Let's be clear, I mean videos that have no direct footage, no direct spoilers, no actual discussion of any leaked content with detail or specificity, just a discussion of the fact that there even was a leak, or even worse, the discussion of the fact that there was a leak and how Naughty Dog then began copyright striking things because of it. That content cannot be struck down, but Sony/Naughty Dog/ whatever keyboard monkey is making decisions over there has decided to do exactly that. There are now many examples. Heels v Babyface, Geeks and Gamers, who had a live stream shut down halfway through because they were discussing how Naughty Dog is, go figure, copyright flagging things that they shouldn't. Ryan Kinnell, who had 2 separate flags on separate channels, Mr. H Review, Lethal 214, and many more. If I got any of those wrong, let me know, but it's widespread and developing fast, so I tried my best to communicate the severity here. This behavior is an entirely different creature. I can mentally justify defending a measured response to leaked plot material. I cannot mentally justify the response by Naughty Dog. And when considering their behavior as an indicator of how frantic they are to shut down the discussion, it does not build confidence that these leaks are anything other than completely true, or worse yet, do not even show the full scope of their failure. When someone manipulates the truth to harm you, it's easy to know internally that when the truth finally comes out, and in a situation like this especially, the truth will come out if it's different than what the leaks showed. If the leaks were different or lied, there will come a release day, it will come out, we will see the actual game, and if the truth is different, then we'll see the truth. If that happens, you will regain lost fans and revenue. When someone simply reveals a portion of the truth and does not manipulate it, or worse yet, when the rest of that truth is even worse, if you were relying on the shroud of the unknown to sell that subversive piece of shit to begin with, I think it's a hell of a lot more likely they begin frantically shutting down anything they can because the confidence of regaining lost support post-release, well, that's just not possible. Let's say that confidence clearly does not exist. Here's the strange thing. As of making this video, my own previous segment, which barely even defended Naughty Dog, and I even say right in it, don't pre-order. If it ends up being ideological propaganda, I will rail against it as hard as I can, etc., etc., and plenty of other fairly definitive statements indicating that while I do not support us as an audience condemning prematurely, the content is damning and we should be, go figure, it's in the actual title, extremely cautious. That video, which contained nothing of the actual leaks, nor does this one, is still up. It did have background footage of the public E3 gameplay showcase a couple of years ago, same as right now, and this leaves the door open for them to claim copyright if they want to. It would technically be defensible, but honestly, not really. If they apply the same standard here as they are to the coverage that does not even make a passing attempt at neutrality or defense, which they are already actively striking down, then they must block my own video as well. And if they don't, they will be displaying a hypocritical approach because content that is perceived as overly negative towards their leaked narrative is blocked while friendly voices aren't. Likewise, with this very video, if they are to enforce an equal standard, they must claim this as well, and at least for this particular one, it would be consistent with others that they have blocked in the sense that it is discussing them abusing copyright, but to take this down and not my previous segment would again indicate that they are leaving up videos titled In Defense of The Last of Us 2, while taking down videos that are less friendly. Either way, if they take down one or both of them, I'm already gearing up to fight it tooth and nail, but the main goal here was to assemble side-by-side evidence on this channel of how measured their response is, hopefully where the line is drawn, or, more likely, just how frantic, panicked, and inconsistent their methods are, and from that panic draw the conclusion that they are anything but confident, and, to use the title here, having a total meltdown. That's it though. I stand by the fundamental points in my previous coverage, but Naughty Dog just changed the rules, and drastically so. It's not looking good for them. If you want to support, there are links down below, merch, Patreon, Twitter, other social media, and another YouTuber to check out. Please subscribe and support him. Also, I'm starting to build up an affiliate presence with EDC Coffee. If you are a big coffee drinker, there's a link down there. They have excellent products, and I'm working towards getting an upper echelon special blend, I hope. That's the goal. So if you drink coffee and want to order it while also helping me out and the channel, use the link. It's in the description. But I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.